Yo, Cam Stuart.
Yeah.
Live from Chicago. The Cam Show host, which is coming up after our show.
Mm-hmm.
Cam, this, by the way, we're live. What are you laughing at? We're live on X right now.
I saw it, yeah.
Yeah.
Retweeted.
Yeah.
Re-X'd.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool. You know, it's funny. We were talking about it, Scotty and I. The video is really clean on X for some reason. That's something to keep an eye on. I had put
this Elon guy. Am I right, fellas?
All right. The NFL draft.
Yeah.
I want your first thought on the coverage of the draft from a media perspective. And there's a potpourri. What are you laughing about?
Nothing. I thought about directly quoting that tweet I sent you this morning, but I'm not going to do it. That's not my first thought on draft coverage.
You had an issue with something Jamel Hill tweeted.
Josina Anderson,
sorry.
Just tweeted out like no thoughts really on it. Just saying, no African American women covering the NFL draft on ESPN.
I mean, honestly,
just like, okay,
throw politics out. I didn't notice it, but that is kind of a thing because there's a lot of really good young black women who do that.
Sure,
black women.
Sure.
You know?
But like you didn't notice it. I don't know. I mean, I don't think NFL draft coverage. I think it's the best TV night of the year for me.
Yeah.
But mainly because you poke a ton of holes in it too. Like it's fun. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be this ultra serious thing, but it's such an inexact science. So I just saw that and I was like, oh, okay. She didn't have any more thoughts on it. It's just like one of those, like, I just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Not like, hey, I should have been doing this. I'm a qualified reporter. But anyway, first thoughts on the draft.
By the way, she should have. She's awesome, by the way.
I know. And that was kind of my big takeaway was
and
she is a
big
really good reporter.
She actually gets stories and breaks stories.
Breaks news, yeah.
Yeah.
I just break wind over here. Anyway, my big
toll say, I don't break stories. I react to them.
Yeah, it works for him, honestly.
Sure does.
He's very big into that. He's like, I'm not a newsbreaker. Anyway, you want my initial reaction from the draft coverage last night?
Yes.
I couldn't understand. My edible had not set in yet when the number one pick was on the clock, and I'm tuning in, and all I'm seeing are highlights of Shedeur Sanders. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? What is this? And then I hear two of the three pundits say they would take Shedeur number one in the draft. I'm like, what are we talking about? Like that hasn't been an option for weeks here, like weeks and months here. That has not been the option. It's always been Carter and Ward. And really the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's been Cam Ward. And I've got ESPN telling, I'm like sitting here, I'm like, am I too plugged in? Am I doing too much draft reading here? Because Shedeur Sanders is not an option. So that was my biggest takeaway. I was just like, what are we doing here? What is this?
Well, okay.
Why are they trying to force intrigue around the pick or what?
I'll push back a little bit.
Okay, please do, Pete.
Which particular feed were you watching? ABC, ESPN?
ESPN, yeah.
Okay, so that's more of a football show. Now,
I would hope so for the NFL draft, yeah.
Although it is, because compared to the ABC one. So it's a broadcast, right? It's a broadcast, okay? It's entertainment. A lot of people are not familiar with the draft that will tune in on this one night. Now, more often over to ABC, right? Gathering under a tent. But it's how you start off the show. Shedeur's a huge story. It's at the top of the show. I'm sure they didn't talk about it after he was drafted, right? They talked about it before, I would think.
Well, after he was drafted, no, because he wasn't drafted. But
I mean, after Cam Ward was drafted.
I mean, yeah. I just found it odd that there was really no shot that he was going to be the number one pick, Pete. That's the thing.
No chance.
Cam Stuart was an interesting story too, but they didn't talk about him. You know, it's just like this guy didn't really have a shot. I get where you're coming from, but there was no chance he was going to be picked number one.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter's a better player and had something of a chance to go number one, and, he wasn't talked about. I don't know. It's weird.
I do love, and I think ESPN gets it. I think the NFL Network gets it. Certainly Pat McAfee got it. You do just you throw the kitchen sink at this thing. And like live television, there'll be some stuff that we can all sit back and be like, but at the end of the day, it's awesome.
Yeah, and certainly I understand as the round goes on, being like, why isn't Shedeur been taken yet? Like that used to be an every year thing. Now with so many guys that don't actually go to the draft, I guess there's not as much, but that was like the best. It's like the kid's worst hour of his life, but when they keep showing Aaron Rodgers and he's not being picked, and it's or Laramie Tunsil after the video, and it was that I understand. I just couldn't understand why number 1 pick on the clock, and you could have even made an argument of like, hey, we've heard Cam Ward, but maybe it's Abdul Carter. Like, how much of a game wrecker is Abdul Carter at the second most important position? And they didn't. Yeah. It was just Shedeur highlights.
So you thought that was a miss at the top of the show?
Yeah, I just thought it was. I thought it was weird, and I thought most people tuning in thought it was weird.
Yeah. What did you think about? There was one thing I noticed.
Didn't get drafted at all in the first night. Yeah.
There was I'm watching with Christy, who has got, we got a little Prosecco going, so we got some opinions. All right. And did you notice when they were going to the guys who were getting drafted, it was kind of late? Like they would keep the camera, like the live view on the guys at home. Like they would get drafted and you'd expect to go to the home. Mm-hmm. And it was the guys sitting on their couches, but they hadn't been drafted yet. So you're getting no reaction. And it happened a couple of times. Like, what were your thoughts about that at all? Did you notice that even?
Yeah, and it seemed weirder. It seemed more kind of delayed than years past because there's always some sort of a delay, right? Because they're watching it on TV, and it's a feed that comes in. But it did seem a little bit more delayed, a little bit more awkward. And I always wonder when it is like that, like. It always feels like they're going to see themselves on the TV screen before they hear that they're going to get picked, because it's so delayed. Obviously, that's not how this works. But yeah, it was a little odd, and it is more pronounced because again, more players are staying home. I guess they don't want the constant cameras on them when they're sliding possibly towards the end of the first round and out of the first round. I think that's a big reason why. I think guys like their families too, but I think that's a big reason why.
Was there a favorite story or moment that jumped out of you in the first round as part of the draft coverage that ESPN presented where you were like, wow, this is really cool?
I mean, Schefter's outfit for sure. That I didn't think it was that cold in Green Bay. It was a bit of an interesting look. Did you see that with the hoodie?
I didn't see it. No, Scotty's pull. I was watching ABC.
Oh, okay. That's right.
I'm trying to bring like, your partner.
The human element.
Yes, it was great. But it didn't matter because Christy talked all over all that anyway. So we could have been watching.
Dude, I had this happen again the other night, but I don't think you've ever met Grace, but she's a heck of a talker. And we'll watch these shows and she'll have a question for everything. And sometimes I'm going to be like, I have to be like, I'm going to turn this off if you're going to ask a question after every sentence. Like part of watching this thing is that we're going to probably find out later, like you're in the same episode as me. But we had one last night after I had turned off the draft that was like, she asked like 3 questions in a row. And like, she said, why are they doing this? What? And literally it was like a minute, 20 seconds probably. And I was like, I don't know, because they probably just explained it. Like the guy kept talking, but I couldn't hear it. He just talked over the whole thing. Now it is different. I'll let her talk over it to some degree when it's sports because like I am the encyclopedia and I could give her the answer. Yeah. But like in a show, I'm like, I don't know. It's a narrative. It's a narrative story.
I will say I agree. But there's also a big positive to it. Like here she is, like.
Well, sure, yes.
These are people
I don't take
that are
for
so
granted.
special to us, and we're sharing something with them. And the fact that she's so engaged, whether it's Grace or Christy, that they're going to be talking the whole time, that's like a win. Everybody's happy.
Yes, I don't take it for granted. Yeah.
So I welcome the questions. I actually got yelled at for talking over stuff last night because
I can believe that.
I can talk a little bit.
Yeah, I can believe that.